My name is Jensen. Let's learn about the hardest application in the Office 365 universe, and that is Microsoft Power Automate. It's very easy to learn, and there's a high salary waiting for you if you do. Why? Well, there's a huge demand for Power Automate developers. It's low code, so everyone can learn it. Just sit down and do it. This example starts off very simple and then it gets more advanced. I'll hold your hand throughout the exercise, so simply just pause or stop the video if things goes too fast. The video is designed for that. If you have any questions, post them below here in the comments. I'll try to get back to each one of you, or buy this Power Automate Bible. There's a link to it in the description below. Now let me go to my computer, and it's very important that you open up Power Automate and do the exercises with me. In that way you will learn the most instead of just passively watching. Go to office.com and then click sign in, either up here in the right corner or at this red button. If you have a Microsoft account, sign in, otherwise create one. It doesn't matter whether it's a business account or personal account. A personal account is a bit limited. That is, we cannot use all the features from our professional account, but it doesn't matter for this use case, so just use a free one if that's the one you got. So I click next. Then I paste in my password and I click sign in. We can choose to stay signed in. That will make it a bit easier for us if we use the app a lot. This is the Office 365 front page. Before we proceed, let me present you the case. I want to create a flow. I open up the Excel sheet. This is from the course materials. If you haven't downloaded it, go download it. The link is in the description. We want to create a flow that reads an Excel sheet. It could be placed either in SharePoint or OneDrive. And then we will check if our employee have birthday today. If yes, then we want to send an email. Also, we will do logging, and we will talk a lot about how we can manipulate strings. So don't worry, I will take your hand through the entire course. Here I have some data. I have 5 columns. I have ID, name, email, birthday, and status. The idea that is a unique value column, 1, 2, 3. Always when you work with data, have some unique ID, because then we can refer back to it. We will use this column later. Then we have a name. I have Stefan, Mads, and Tony. That's the name of my employees. Those employees, they have an email. That one will go in here. Simply just type in your Microsoft email. I will paste in mine here. The reason why I didn't do it in the data was that I didn't want to have emails from each one of you watching this guide. So go ahead, make your own. Then we will have a birthday. Let's say that we will have the birthday. These 2 guys have birthday today, and this one here have some other birthday. So today it's the September 27, 2021. This one here I will copy and I will paste it in here. And I know that these guys can be born today, but this is the example we will start with, and then we'll go more advanced as the course proceeds. Here, this guy can have 09/26/2021, like this. So now we have filled in our table. One thing that we will need to do is to format this table as a table. To do this, mark your range. This is my range. When I have marked this, I press Ctrl T, then this pops up. We specify that our table has headers, because it does. ID, name, email, birthday, and status. That is the headers of our table. So I click OK. Now you can see that we have a nice table, and we want to modify the name. It's not super important, but it looks nice. At the moment, we have a table name called Table 2. Or table 1 maybe. Now it disappears. If you want to find it again, simply just go into your table at any place. Go to the table design over here, and you will have it up here. I will call this birthdays, like this, and I click enter. So now this table is named birthday. If I click back into it, you can see that the table name is birthday. We are done here. We click save. Now we go back to the office.com, that is the Office 365 apps. The apps that we are going to use, that is Outlook, OneDrive, and Power Automate. Power Automate is this arrow. In case you don't see the apps, don't worry. Simply just click the 9 black dots up here, click all apps, and we will have the apps down here. But let me go back. So first I will open up Outlook. That is my emails. We want to send an email whenever this employee has birthday or not. Then we want to open OneDrive because we want to have our data here, and we will create a folder for our data. I created one called birthdays, but you can call your folder whatever you want, or you can place it in a subfolder anywhere else, or a SharePoint for that matter. I will open up my folder. It's empty right now, and let me show you this. I want to move this over in OneDrive. What I do here is, let me move this a bit. I have it here, even with a spelling error. I simply just copy it over here. The spelling error doesn't matter. When you receive it, I will make sure that the H is there. So now we have our data in a centralized place, that is OneDrive, so we can read it with Power Automate. We are ready to open up Power Automate and create the flow that will automatically send out emails based on people's birthday. So I go down here to Power Automate. Again, if you don't see it, click the 9 black dots up here and click all apps. But we see it, so we click here. This is the Power Automate front page. What we can do is that we can create a new flow. We will do that. So click Create here. It might look a little bit confusing all this, but don't worry. I will hold your hand and take you through the solution. We will go through a lot of the things here in Power Automate, and the things that we don't go through in this video, we will go through in the next videos. So make sure to subscribe to the channel to learn all the nice things here in Power Automate and, in parentheses, upgrade your career. So here we can choose between flows. You can see that there's 5 flows here. I have an automated cloud flow. That is a trigger flow. Something happened. That could be if we receive an email from a certain sender, if something happened at SharePoint, whatever, then we start a flow. We could also choose an instant cloud flow. That is, if we press a button, the flow will run. Usually we will do that for attended office automation. That is, if our agent or ourselves needs a flow to run, then we will just press a button. Or we could schedule a flow. This will be very clever if we have a birthday flow, because then we could schedule our flow to run each day, maybe at the morning at 8 o'clock, send out these messages. Finally, we have a business process flow. This is a more complicated flow with a lot of steps. And we have our desktop flow. The desktop flow, that is the real RPA. That can automate UI elements. That is everything you see on your desktop. It can click buttons, it can data scrape, it can type in browsers, everything. I made a complete course on that. You can just click the playlist up in the right corner to go to the desktop version. But here we will use the web application. I will recommend you to master both things, both Power Automate Web, which is this course, and the desktop thing. So we create an instant cloud flow. I click here. We can give it a name. I will call it birthdays. And then we will choose manually trigger our flow. I click create. Now we created our first flow. It will look like this. It's blank. So let's add steps to it. This is the trigger up here. So I click new step. The first thing that we want to do is that we want to get each row of the Excel sheet here at birthdays. We want to get that so we can work with it. So I'll search for Excel. Here I can see I can have one called Excel Online Business. I have one called Excel Online OneDrive. If you have a business account, choose the one for business over here. If you have a personal account, choose the one called Excel Online OneDrive. I have a business account, so I click here. What do I want to do? I want to read the data into a list. So I choose the list rows present in a table. If you can't see it, simply just search for it up here. I click it, and then I need to fill in something. I have a location, document library, file, and table. And now it's really, really clever because Power Automate will do a lot of the things for you. So click the drop down here, click the OneDrive for Business, click the drop down here, the document library, that's the OneDrive. My file, well, you can see my folders here. Mine was placed in the birthday folder, so I click the arrow over here and I choose my Excel sheet, or the book actually. Then I'll choose the table, and that's why it was important that we format it as a table, otherwise it wouldn't work. So I'll choose birthdays here. We can have some more advanced options. We can choose to filter our data, only to work with data that we have applied some query on. But we will not do it here. That will be the more advanced course. In case you want the more advanced course, remember to subscribe to the channel to get all the new Power Automate courses that I will make. So we got this in a table. Now we need to iterate through this list, and to do that, click a new step. Here, we can go to Control, or we can search for a Apply to Each. That is this one here. What this does, it will iterate through our list, take the row one by one, and do something. Here, just click in here, and in case this menu doesn't open, it will look like this. You can always find it by clicking Add Dynamic Content. Here we can say list rows present in the table. You can see we can find a lot of data. What we want is the value of this list. We can choose either the body or the value. The value that is a subset of body, and that is sufficient for our solution. So choose the values here. So inside the Apply to Each, click Add an Action. Not a new step, but add an action. So now we will ask, as we are going through each row of the Excel sheet, we want to ask, hey, is the birthday today? So I'll find a condition, search for it here. Here, condition. What this does is ask a question here. This question always have two responses and exactly two responses. It could either be a yes or no, so a Boolean if you know programming. If you don't worry. So I choose a value. And I want to ask, let me find my Excel sheet again. I know I open it a lot, but I want you to understand it. I want to ask, is today's date, is that equal to this one here? If yes, then we'll send an email. And let's just repeat it. We can see this is true, and this is true, and this is not true. Now I go back to Power Automate, so I choose a value. And again, we have this dynamic content. I will look at the birthday. So I'll choose the birthday here. Is that equal to, what value will that be equal to? Well, that will be equal to this one here. Like this. So we ask a question. Is the current row, is that the birthday, is that equal to this one? Then we'll have a yes or no. If yes, then he or she will have a birthday today. Then we'll go over here. If no, we are in the no branch. Nothing will happen. We won't send an email. So here I click Add an Action because now we want to send the email. And again, this is the simple solution where we only look at today's date with today's year. We will make it more advanced in a few minutes. So here I'll search for Outlook. I will have an Outlook.com or Outlook 365. This is again the personal account and this is the business account. I have the business account, so I click here. What do I want to do? I want to send an email. I can see it down here, otherwise search for it. So I click here. Now you will see it looks really like you're about to send an email in Outlook. I have a to, a subject, a body, and I have some more advanced options, BCC, CC, attachment, everything. Let's just hide them again, so we have the simple solution. So who do I want to send it to? I want to send it to the email of the current row. That is the row we are iterating through up here. So I just click in here. In case I don't see any dynamic content, again, click here. And you'll see the email here, or you can expand it by clicking See More. You have all the data that you can use. I will use the email, so I click here. This one will send an email. We can have a subject, so I'll say happy birthday. Write whatever you want. Then in the body, let's write a nice message to the employee. So I'll say hey, and let's personalize it, and write a name. Again, if you don't see it, click Add Dynamic Content. We will take the name, click here, enter, happy birthday there is a present for you at https://andersjensen.org/birthday. Like this. I mark it. This is a link. Mark it as a link. Copy the link title and make the same in the target. Then I open the link in a new window and click Add. Now there's a birthday present for each one of my employees that they can click this link. So then I can say kind regards, Anders. And by the way, if you're curious, there will be some goodies here. That will mainly be my LinkedIn and Facebook group where we solve Power Automate problems together and network. So that's fine. We will stop here and we will save our flow because now let's try to run it. So we saved it and we can click test. We will test it manually. So we click test here. It's running. Here it will test whether or not we are signed into our connections. We are. We'll have the green check mark. In case you don't, then just fix it. Sign into Excel and Outlook. Then we click continue. Now I click run flow. This will run manually. I click done. Then I go back to Power Automate. We can see our flow is running. In a bit, you'll see the flow running to each steps. That's fine. We are done here. Or let's check the data. So if I go back to my Outlook, we can see that we have two emails. Hey Steffen, hey Tony. If I open this, hey Steffen, happy birthday, there's a present for you. Hey Tony, there's a present for you. Well, not the most elegant email, but for this example, it's fine. And were this correct? Let me open the Excel sheet again. Yes, Steffen and Tony has birthday today. But now let's add years to it because this was not very elegant. We just say that each one of these employees were born today or yesterday. So now let's make it a bit more advanced. Let's go to OneDrive. So I click the OneDrive and open the Excel sheet. So I click here. This one will open. Now let's have Steffen. The year he was born in should be 1975. Mash should be born, he's a young gun, he will be born in 2001. And Tony, he will be born in 1955. So again, these two, they are having birthday today and Mash is not. So we want to send birthday messages to Steffen and Tony. And we want to log a status. So if we send a birthday message, we want to have a status here saying sent. So this is a log message. Let me close down this one. Actually, we don't have to close down this one. We can easily work with it, but for simplicity, let me close it. We will open it afterwards and see that we have updated it. So now we go back to Power Automate. It will get a little bit more tricky now. Not really anything advanced or anything, but the people that say that this is a no-code platform, they lie. There'll be a little bit of code, but you will learn it. We will work through it together. So then click Edit up here in the right corner. Because now we want to, let me open the Excel sheet again. We want to only look at the birthday. And that is the month and the day. If I take this one here, open it here. That is the month and the day. The year doesn't matter. They have a birthday whether or not. The month is this month and the day is today. I know we fixed it in our OneDrive. This is the local version, but you'll get the intuition. So we want to separate this. And to do that, we will work a little bit with expressions. This is a nice way to learn expressions. So if I go back. So here we will add another action. So we want to compose a string. So we take compose because we want to work a little bit with the data. So I'll take the compose here. And what we'll do here is that we'll move it up before the condition, or actually we're moving the condition below this. So drag it, place it here. We have our compose here. So I click here. I'll go over here to the dynamic content. Again, I think you know the drill. Just do this and click birthday. So what we do here is that we'll hover over it because we will need this expression. That is the items, apply to each, question mark, heart brackets, and birthday within, because this one will refer to the dynamic item called birthday. Now we will need to do an expression. So if I just remove this and go to the expression. We will write out the entire expression. What we will do here is that we will split out the birthday into 3 items. That is the month, day, and year. And then afterwards we will only use the day and month. What we can do here is that we will apply a string function. You can see here the IntelliSense auto-completion. We'll have the split. We will use that, but I will write it out. Split. Then parentheses, and now we will use our expression. So I'll say items. That was the one from before. Otherwise, just rewind the video a bit. By the way, if you enjoy this learning, if this helps you, please like the video. That will really help me a lot and my channel, and I can make new videos for you. So here we have the items. Then we'll have the single quotation marks. We'll say apply to each, like this. Then afterwards, the first parentheses, we will have a question mark, like this. Heart brackets, like this. In single brackets, I know this is a bit tricky, but just rewind the video. This was the expression from before. So now we are done. So we'll scroll outside the heart brackets, make a comma. And now we want to say, how do we want to separate this? Because we have an expression and then we want to define, we will say we want this /, we want to separate it by this. So we have 3 items, that is the month, day, and year. So go back here. After the comma, I'll say still in single quotation marks, I'll just put a /. So now we have our expression, press OK. It will say that it's invalid, that's fine, it's an error. Now we have it here. You can see it here, split, items, apply to each, question mark, birthday, and split by the /. Now we want to get the current time, because there's a difference between the current time at our local time zone and the time in Power Automate. The time in Power Automate, that is UTC, and right here we have UTC plus, I think +2. So we want to account for that so we don't mess up when we look for today's date. We want to make sure that it's the local day that we're looking for. We are not crossing over 2 days. So click the plus here, add an action. I will say current, or we can go to date time, but that's fine. Current time, if I search for that, we will see this current time under date time, so click it here. Nothing will really happen, this will just take the current time. Now we will take the current time of Power Automate and format it to the date of, or the time of our current time zone. So again, click this little plus. I think this is very cool. It might seems very advanced to do all these things, but I'll get you through all the things in Power Automate so you just don't think it's just drag and drop, but you'll actually learn a lot from this. Just rewind the video is designed for that. So again, click the plus here, between current time and condition, I click plus, add an action. So here I want to convert my time zone. So I say convert, like this. I'll take the convert time zone. So the base time, that was the current time that we just got from here. That is the current Power Automate time. Again, take notice. So I'll say, where is this source? Where is that coming from? Well, that is UTC because it's Power Automate time. So I'll scroll a little bit down. It will be right here at 0. So between -1 and 0, UTC, take that one. So we just specify what time this is in, and we want to convert it to our local time zone. So click the drop down here at the destination. Mine is Copenhagen, and it's +1. I told you that it was +2. I didn't know, but you can find it here. So find your city or your time zone and click here. Now I'll just take the format string. This one will specify what we will have out in our output. I want only the month and day, and in .NET I'll write 2 big M's /DD. 2 big M's, that is month, small m's, that is minutes, by the way, and then we have dates. We don't need the year, as we will only compare today's month and day with the things that we have in the Excel sheet. Just click outside. Now we have what we want. We need to fix the condition here though. So I will delete this. And we needed the birthday, but we already did that up here in the compose. We splitted this one here to an array, remember? We splitted the birthday to an array. So we have 3 items in our array. Array is just a list. We have the month first, we split it by the forward slash, then we have the days, and then the year. So if I go down here to condition, then we go to expression. We will write concat. Concat is simply just merging things together, string elements together. Again, please help me if you enjoy this guide. Give it a thumbs up. This will really help my channel a lot. So I'll say concat, then a parentheses. Now we need the output from the first item from up here. So I'll write outputs, then I'll say parentheses, single quotation marks, and this was called compose. You can find it as we did before, but let's just trust me. So I'll say compose. And then we want the first item in the array. That was this array. To get that, it's 0 index, so the first item is 0, the second is 1, and so forth. So I'll say hard brackets like this, and I say 0. So now we got the first one. Then we want to have the forward slash, that was this one here, we are comparing with that, so that's just to make them standardized. So I'll say comma, then I'll say single quotation marks again, and forward slash. Again, we are concatenating these things. So now we are concatenating the first item and the forward slash. We just need to add the second item. That was the month. So I'll click here. Then I'll say comma. And well, we're automating things here. We don't want double work. So just copy this one here, copy it, and paste it in after the comma. And we want the second item. Oops, let me go over here. Change this to 1. So now we got it. We click OK. It says that it's invalid. That's fine. It's not. So we have it right now. Now we are comparing to the converted time zone. So what do we need to do? Well, let's open up the Excel sheet again. We just need to have a status. And we can do this by just adding, if we send an email, we want to add a status. We send the email based on the condition. Now we're only comparing month and days as opposed to before. So I'll click add an action. Here I'll say Excel, and we will choose the update a row. So click that. The location, now we can go through each one of these steps again. So click the drop down. Mine is OneDrive for Business. The document library, that is OneDrive. The file, find it here. What you will do in an enterprise setup, you will have created variables for this, ingoing arguments even. So you just change it once and then you can use them in your flows. But for now, it's very fine. The table, that was the birthdays table. Now we will use our key column and key value. That was the idea. So if I click down here, I'll say, what was my key column? That is the idea. Then I need to specify the corresponding value. So, and that was the one I got from here in the apply to each. That was the idea, the dynamic content. So go over here in dynamic content. Again, you know the drill. Find the idea. That's it. What do I want to update? I want to update the status because now I want to say send. That is, we have sent an email. We update the status column. So now we are done. You have completed a quite complicated flow, but we did it together. Let's see that it will actually work. So I save it here. Then we'll test it. So I'll test it manually. I click test. So we will run our birthdays flow manually. Let's run the flow. Let's click done. And you will see that we have going through each one of the steps in a few seconds here. So this one will likely pass like here. Now we are done. Let's inspect our data and see that we have actually solved our case. So if I go to mail, 2 new messages has came. That is Stefan and Tony. So yeah, we completed this step. Now it looked at the data, only the month and day, and still found out that it needs to send out messages to these 2. Let's see if we have updated our Excel sheet here. So if I go in here, now we have a nice send. Let me scroll a bit up. We have send in the status. Case completed. Let's go back to Power Automate. You learned how we can automate your Excel, your OneDrive, and your Outlook in your flows. We also saw how we can tune our flows with simple formulas. This language is workflow definition language, and I can recommend this book as it will take you through all these advanced steps. There's a link in the description. Now, let's say that you want to learn something here in Power Automate. You can also cheat a bit. Click the templates. Here you have tons of templates. What I did when I wanted to learn Power Automate, I just took any one of these and then I just dissected. So if I, for example, just want to have this one here, I just click here. That is the OneDrive. It can send out notification when a new file is uploaded. That is fine. I need to sign in here. I will do that. And then the flow will come and we can learn a lot from that. So I really recommend you to play around with the templates. And don't forget to subscribe to this channel, as I will make a lot of new Power Automate guides, a lot of advanced guides and a lot of beginner guides. And again, this was not all. We also had the Power Automate desktop. Remember, if I go to create, we had this desktop flow. You can install it from up here in the right corner, Power Automate desktop. I made a complete course on that. Click the video to the left. A more cool RPA tool. That is the best RPA tool in the world, the biggest, the most advanced. That is UiPath. It's free. I made a 2-hour tutorial, which you can find by clicking the video to the right. Thanks a lot for following through. Post any questions, comments, and everything in the comments below.